grant funder. So we just need to, I'm not in support of just spending money without knowing what we're spending it on and not seeing the billing from VHB and not seeing the grant proposal for what project they're trying to do. Now, it's great if they're going to do a village survey. I mean, it would be just great to see that paperwork prior to a meeting where we're voting on the money to do it.
You did. You agreed to this ahead of time. We're just ratifying what you already agreed to and
That was the original 5,000, which was asking for the bid properties.
This was for the RFP that was due on 7/25, which was in between our two meetings, and you got an email from council, and everybody on the board agreed that we should do it. And all we're doing is ratifying that we agreed to it to make the payment.
Okay.
I'm sorry you don't recall it, but you did agree to it. So that's all I'm doing is just putting an amount not to exceed so we can pay them when we get the bill.
Yeah.
Okay.
So are we going to 12 now?
No, we have to, could I have a second on this motion?
So I don't think it was read yet. We didn't read the.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. So who was
it me?
Up to you, Gary.
Okay, resolution ratifying, oh no, hold on a second. We're at number 11, right?
11, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Resolution to ratify an additional payment to VHB in the amount not to exceed $5,000 to be prepared in the village response to the New York State South Shore electricity and grant due on 7/25/25.
Erwin, the question is, it says an additional payment. That's what's throwing me off. It says an additional payment.
So then maybe you should say payment. I didn't,
I think payment. I think that's why I questioned
maybe-
it, because it should just say
Okay.
payment.
Okay,
I don't know, again, I'm not sure why, again, Jared, maybe,
It's okay.
he's not here tonight.
So the
but
resolution is to
Right.
ratify
A
a
payment.
payment to be, no, okay.
A
If
payment.
it's the first 5,000, I'm fine with that. Okay, I did agree to that. Another 5,000, I'm just not aware of, that. Okay.
Gina, we never spent the first 5,000. This is what I also put in that email when I discussed this with you. We never spent the original $5,000. So I said to do this grant would not be costing the village any additional money than we already previously agreed to. It's just that we're agreeing to make this payment for this particular grant. We did not pay for the other grant proposal. I have shared it before. So
Okay,
it wasn't costing the village any additional money. And so that's where we're at. So all those in favor?
aye.
All right.
Gina? Thank you.
That's fine.
Okay.
Well, resolution ratifying the employment of Jason Vaughn as a part-time constable who is EMT certified at a rate of $30 per hour.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
13, resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of West Hampton Dunes hereby reapproves the contract with Fundamental Business Services, FBS, originally approved on February 15, 2024, and authorizes the mayor to execute the agreement on behalf of the village.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
14,
14.
Yes.
resolution authorizing the mayor to obtain quotation for landscaping services for the Village Hall, 914 Dune Road, and given
Exigent.
okay. Circumstances to enter into agreement with the vendor whose quote is in the best interest of the village at an account not to be exceeded.
Second.
2,000, not to exceed $2,000.
No, right, I'm sorry, not yet.
Okay. All those in favor?
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Then the last resolution for mayor to obtain quotes to install crosswalk signs at the 7 public access ways.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Listen, I'm more than happy to, explain any of the resolutions we passed. If anybody's got a specific question, or I can always explain them, ahead of time, whatever people are comfortable with. That's why I want to make sure that everything is done here and on the record and transparent. So if anybody has any questions about it, I'm more than happy to answer them. Now we can go into public comment. So I'm not sure if there's anybody here who has any comments, or if there's anybody online. Okay, just state your name and your address and.
Daly Hill, 860 Dune Road. Sorry, I missed your first comments about the walkway and the kayak ride. if you had those
Oh,
on the agenda. But anyway, thank you for putting the walkway in. I think that was long overdue. That's really nice. The kayak rack, I'd like to bring up again, we live right east of that. And it's a pretty massive structure right now. So it kind of interferes with the whole beauty of the bay. And I realize you and I talked a little bit, and I think you did it quickly and didn't have much time for planning of that due to the DEC permit you told me. So I guess what I'd like to propose is perhaps we can have people who actually use kayaks and paddle boards and use the beach there to maybe make comment as to what might be the best use of that or the best repositioning perhaps of the kayak rack.
well, I think it's movable, so if if it's affecting your situation or somebody else's situation, it's not, we didn't cement the data or anything yet, so we built it just to get them, up and done, and we, based upon the permit that the DEC gave us. So we can probably have some flexibility to move them, and we can discuss that
Yeah.
with yourself and the users,
Yeah, I just think it's a great idea, so thank you for doing that, but I just think we should have some input that what is the best use of that. So it does take up a large footprint of the beach, people use that.
But I thought all the boats strewn out was taking up more of the beach than.
No, they were pretty, after Brian moved them, they were pretty well now confined just to the water company property.
Okay.
And I do worry that high winds taking them off, if they're buried in beach grass, it's probably safer than, high up where it's hard to reach. So I guess I'm just asking for input from other people who actually use it, and come back and then figure out, before we do anything, to spend more money.
Well, we weren't, I don't think we were spending more money, but that's okay.
Well, you gotta be a big enough bill, right, so it's definitely from that.
But be happy to take feedback from yourself and any of the users of the kayaks.
Okay, thank you for that, and thank you again for the,
And I did mention, the one thing that then you did miss is I said that they did not put the rails on the steps yet. That was evidently, they were supposed to come back 2 weeks ago, they still haven't gotten back to that, so it's completed except for the rail, so putting a railing on the steps.
Erwin, the comments that I've heard on those racks is that the ones that are up on top are like high for anybody to lift something up on a regular basis and put it in. And I think the other problem, because it's so high, is that it's, above the Phragmite line. So if we could, I don't know whether Lee can adjust them so that they're below the Phragmite line, you won't have the visual negative impact of them.
Okay, any,
Terry Jacobs. Terry, go ahead. You have to unmute. Can you unmute yourself?
Can you put a request to?
I'm asking him to unmute. Yeah. Can you unmute yourself, Perry? No.
You know this person? She looked familiar, yes, slightly.
When you go over at the dots that are at the top right corner.
It's so funny, she's like.
Where she came up.
His actual
Yeah,
body.
I'm looking, oh, on his body?
Yeah, that's that, click there, where that's at.
Ask to unmute,
No, it's the same thing.
yeah. All right, you can type it in if you want to type your question into the chat.
You wanna see if anyone here has questions?
you just,
Well-
we just did.
Everyone.
Yeah.
We said it was like
I
that.
have Sarah, do you want to go here?
I have a question.
Okay.
Great.
Well, Mayor, as you know, this mayor, public point, was full of it. Like my recent, you reduced it by $140.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Gary. I have nothing to do with this.
Somebody's done it, Jack.
Okay, but if somebody gave us an amount that was wrong, I wouldn't know about it. So this is something you should discuss with Robin or Liz. Nobody intentionally would short you any particular amount, but again, I don't know anything about it. If you're giving bills, then they're paying it based upon the bills you're providing.
Liz had said there was a portion of it that wasn't, that it's like a supplemental plan.
Okay, okay, so then you have to discuss it with Liz.
Okay, I thought Liz had talked to you about it, but.
Liz determines how the village spends the money. Liz is the deputy part-time treasurer. So she would display you what it was. So if you'd like, I'll speak to Liz.
Yeah, I'm not aware of the situation. I'm not sure why you're bringing this up at a board meeting. You're welcome to, but
Thank
you know, it should put effect. Okay.
Guys, I'm unmuted if
Oh, there
it's
you
my
go.
turn.
Okay, just hold on a second.
It's okay.
Are you, okay, all right, go ahead, Terry.
So I wanted to ask about the sign, the Gary Vigliani sign at the entrance to the village. And I've talked to a number of people and a couple of board members. I know there are a lot of people that are unhappy with that sign. I'm not sure what the procedure was to put it in place, if it was followed properly. If it was, I'm interested in knowing the procedures to get it removed. I have no problem with past mayors being honored. And, I was thinking that, I would circle back to the whole procedure, but I was thinking, the mayor should be recognized. Maybe we'd have a wall inside the office where you had a picture of Gary and his tenure, and maybe also would be a good place to note the names of the trustees because they put in a lot of time. And if you've ever been to, I don't know, a golf club, they have the pictures of the past presidents and so forth. If we had that in the office on a wall, it would be sort of a history, in 10 and 20 years, you look back, you see all the mayors, it would be a history of the village. So that's just an idea for an alternative, but I do think that sign is off-putting to a lot of people. And so again, I'm not sure what the procedure was to put it there and what the procedure would be to get rid of it.
Can I comment? Sure. It was voted for at a board meeting in June of 24 and passed unanimously by the board.
And a public meeting.
Okay, so the board could vote again to remove it, correct?
Correct.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Well, there's a lot of opposition to it in the village. A lot of people don't feel it reflects their current view.
May I make a comment as well? Please, I don't have a little hand raise button available. It's Catherine Wolfson at 24 Cove. I have to second what Perry is saying, and Harvey, I know it was approved at the meeting because I went back and read all the minutes, but I think part of the problem was, and please, if someone has different information, correct me, but it was installed without permission of this board. It just appeared one day. It also, as far as I'm concerned, we worked very hard to get those pillars in place when I was a trustee and to have them be elegant and reflect the village. And I have no problem with our previous mayor being honored in any way, shape, or form. But I do not think it is in keeping with the pillar that was there. I think it is very glaring that it is a bronze plaque attached to our natural gray stone. So I think it's very off-putting. I'm also not happy with the wording, which I don't think was fully approved by the previous board or was approved by anybody, because I don't think it reflects all the trustees that worked so hard. Gary worked very hard for a lot of years. No one takes that away from him. He is one of the reasons that we are here, but he was also one of a board of 5. He was not a solo gentleman that did this all by himself. And I think the wording that was chosen is making it look like it was a one-man show. I think there could be a lot of tribute done to Gary and the previous original trustees. I think that could be placed in Village Hall, as Perry has mentioned, or in the new constabulary building. But I feel like our pillars were defaced without any knowledge and without any checking in place. And it's very frustrating to me because, as I said, I worked very hard to get those pillars built. I was very proud of how they looked. I think they reflect our village in a very elegant way. And I feel like it's almost like a vandalism thing, even though I know it's not, I don't mean to sound so extreme, but so I could just go over and get a plaque made about something and stick it on the other pillar and everyone's just going to let it stay. I don't think it's appropriate. I don't think it was handled right. And I'm very disappointed in how it was handled. Whoever put it up, I still to this day don't know who physically attached it. I do know that it was done without permission of this board. So that's my feelings on the matter.
Comment again? As you know, I'm the new village historian, and all of the roads in this village are named after founders of this village. Okay, the last road that is not named is Dune Road, and that was the last place, the place that it was the last road that is not named. I mean, you
Yes,
do.
Herbie, I was part of putting those names up. I'm the one that orchestrated those white posts being put with the previous trustees back when I was a trustee. And we do have Asom Way on Dune Road. It's not representing Dune Road, but it is faced on Dune Road. I just feel like it could have been a similar thing could have been done, something in keeping with the look and the style of what was existing, not this bronze plaque being just glued on or however it was attached to a stone pillar without permission, without whether it was approved by the previous board. And the sign that was approved is not the conversation here. The conversation is that it was attached and permanently mounted onto a previous existing village stanchion that I just don't think it was appropriate that it was done without permission. Besides the fact that it was over a year later that it was put in, these things were discussed last June. Why did it take so long? And why was it done, quote, in the stealth and dark of night? I'm just very frustrated by the way it was handled. That's one of the biggest things. And I think that it could have been placed someplace else. And I think the wording could have been approved by the new board as well as the old board.
Well, it was approved by the old board because the model of it was presented at that meeting.
Which no one could see because of the little tiny pictures of the group thing. It was discussed I was on that meeting. It was discussed very quickly. It was held up. You couldn't read it. And then it was like gone and it was shuffled. And it was a piece of cardboard that was presented. It did not appear to me to have that much wording on it. I could be incorrect. But at the time, it looked like maybe 2 sentences or so, not this paragraph. So that's part of the frustration.
But I ask, it's hard to tell from the Zoom who is adamantly defending this.
Oh, it's Harvey Gesson is in the, who was a
Okay.
trustee at the time, so Harvey's speaking.
Okay.
And as I said before, no one is criticizing Gary Biglianti's work and what he did for this village. And I would be very happy, as we said all along, to have things up that speak to the efforts and the work that he did. I just don't think this is the appropriate way to have done it. And I'm very upset with the way it was handled and the way it was installed.
Yes. And the wording, despite what the past Board of Trustees thinks, does not reflect the feelings of this village. It's really overstated. It's really overdone. And even if it was put up properly, then there's a procedure to take it away.
Agreed.
Are there any other comments from the audience?
Sarah Cavalli, she wrote about, any municipality can apply for a New York State grant and or federal grant. Whether you have an LWRP approved plan or not, it doesn't impact your ability to get I lost my place, I'm sorry. To get other New York State grants. In fact, this was the first ever year of the SSER grant administered by the South Shore Estuary Reserve. It's so important for all villages, municipalities to put in for this money for this opportunity that just popped up quickly because it will show New York State.
There's need for additional.
Where to go? I can't, I have.
There's a need for additional,
That's what.
there's additional money.
Yeah, additional money.
Yeah, this grant, they reached, I went on the grant, instructional video. The person who was running it for New York State actually personally reached out to me, suggested that we apply for it. It is a small grant in the scheme of other grants that are hundreds of millions of dollars. But I also think that, I know that there's about 30 eligible municipalities and tribal nations and about I think about 50% of them actually did apply for the grant. It's going to be oversubscribed. But that doesn't mean that everybody doesn't have a fair chance, and there was no requirement of having any other types of, LWRPs or pro housing or anything else from New York State that was a requirement for it. So, and a lot of the work that was required for this grant application happened to have been similar to the grant application we applied for on June 6th. So it was a good percentage of the application work we already had done, and it was, maybe about 10 hours to actually apply for that particular grant. And I think what Sarah's trying to say is, because what the guy from New York State said to me also is, if a grant like this gets oversubscribed, then the state's gonna say, hey, maybe we should be putting more money into the different estuary funding, and we can increase it for, next year. And that's what I think is a proof of concept. Are there any other comments or either questions, or does anybody have their hand up?
I don't know, I have Alan Green.
It's Chef Farkas. I don't have my hand up. Can I speak?
Yep.
Sure.
Okay. I just want to say I've been on the ZBA for 3 or 4 years now, and I think that Chad is going to be a great addition. He's knowledgeable and smart. He brings a lot to the table. He understands the building code, and he will be an asset not only to the board but to the community in general. And I commend you for putting him on the board.
Thank you.
Ed says thank you.
I have Alan Green, and he's referring back to Gary. It says, how petty can you be? If not for Gary, this village would not exist. And then I have Stanley Vickers, who said agreed. And then I have Catherine. Well, she said this stuff. Alan Green says, Catherine, it actually was one-man show. I'm Kathleen. Oh, it's Kathleen Malone, who's under Alan Green.
So is that it? Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody, and I look forward to everybody coming on August 23rd for my cookout and conversation. Thank you.
All right.
Erwin, one thing I don't